Hi guys, welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Emily. I go CraftieEmily here on YouTube, and it is Tuesday, May the 7th. It's been, I think, we might be on day 9 since my last video. It's Tuesday, 9:10 in the morning. I'm on a late today, so I start at 2, so I've got time to do my video and process my video. I've been stitching this morning. Got up with took my kids, my girls to my mum last night because I was on a late today, so no point me battering up the motorway to drop them at school to then kick around for a few hours. I will do it Thursday morning, but I'll go back to my old house and load my car again. I'm still loading my car with gubbins and bringing it here and getting things sorted very slowly. Probably slower than Richard would like, but I'm getting there. It's finally lovely sunny day. It poured with rain yesterday, like big drops of rain, but we're not got massive Texas style floods here. So if you live it, I know quite a lot of people who watch me live in Texas. Hope you're dry. Put your stitching upstairs. That's an unhelpful comment when there's proper weather going on, I know, and then there's a lot of tornadoes and all sorts. Annoyingly, the NBC have not been uploading their news for the last 4 days. Every now and again they have a little hiatus where they don't upload the nightly news to YouTube, which makes me cross, but this morning's news was there, so I've already watched that this morning, which is your last night's news. It's just something I've done since lockdown. Third cup of coffee of the day. I've discovered wonderful espresso shots from the coffee machine, which for reasons unknown I've been using instant coffee, and then looked at the coffee machine and went so I'm basically making myself an Americano, which, who knew, is brilliant. So yeah, I've probably got a bit too much coffee on board. I made too much the other morning. I had an early, and I've not had an early for 2 weeks, and I had an early on Saturday morning. So I take a like a Contigo flask, which I start at 7 o'clock, and I drink one on the motorway, same size, but obviously a cup that goes cool quicker. And I put 3 shots of coffee in each and drank them, and I was physically jittering, which was a bit much, to be honest. Yeah, I was a bit too much, too quick. So this is my second cup of this for this morning, plus the instant I had at like 6 o'clock this morning. So anyway, yep, I got up and I've been stitching, and I've reached a milestone. I only pulled this out yesterday. We are well acquainted, old friends, the pointed fifth. This morning, just 2 minutes ago, I reached 50%. It is half done. We know how my pointed fifth goes. I get utterly obsessed with it and stitch on it for a couple of weeks, and I've forgotten to bring down a piece that I was going to show you that I'm going to move on to. Oh, honestly, I'm hopeless. I'll pause the video and do that in a minute. So my pointed fifth, yeah, I picked it up yesterday and is now at exactly 50%, well 50.01, because I did have to put in 6 stitches here. So yesterday I stitched the chicken and the squirrel to finish off this here, which was the only bit of here finished, and then I moved on and finished a blend with 796, which was just along here. I may or may not have a picture. I'll hunt and pull a picture up from my whip braid so you can see where I'm talking about. It's negligible, really. I've done about 1,000 stitches, that's all. She says it's since I got finished work yesterday, but this is what I fancied picking up. And I then finished all the 791, which was sort of a little band here. I think it was these 2 bits needed finishing. And then I've done the blend. No, that was, what have I done? Oh, right. So I finished off the blend, the 791 into 796, which was just below here in this thick band. I've then done all the 796, which was finishing off in here, and I've done the blend of the 796 into the 797, and now I'm into 797, which means that the only colour left on the bottom is 797. Once I finish my 797, I am only using the colours on the bottom, and I think it ends about here, because these were for birdies. These were the lap round colours for birdies, which I need to write down because I did sort out the most wonderful full round the block DMC rainbow. But I think my pointed fifth only runs through these colours here. So I've got 796, which is the last of the purpley blues, and then we go down into 517, which I've actually done some here. I've not got all of it in. I'm down to, I think, I'm down into 3812. So I've got 4 colours to go from this bottom here to the bottom, which will be about there. But I decided last year that I would, because it was getting very diagonal, I decided last year to start and finish at the top. So I finished all the way across, and now it is complete to here. It's complete to the pointy things that are going to be in the tops of these archways, which of course I've done 2 and the little one on the end there. But the fill-in colour, the navy blue, is 823, always with the 823, but it's 823 étoile, which does sparkle. And I'm on opalescent fabric, which is pink. Now, if anyone wants my colours for this, there is a whole video down in my playlist and in my videos where it's simply called How I'm Stitching Pointed Fifth, I think, and it gives you the full rundown of all the colours I'm using, because I always get asked, and it's always a fuss for me to pull them out, and I have got them written down on this, on my little thread drop. So sorry, I had a loose strand there. So I'm getting on. All these ones along here are all finished. From the pinks, they were for birdies and they were for birdies, which is a permanently UFO'd project, which I may or may not stitch in retirement. You know, it's kind of been UFO'd for the next 20 years kind of thing, because I've got so much to do between now and then. Anyway, my pointed fifth at 50% is there. That's half done. So obviously it's not quite 50% this way, because I've got probably 10% of it's there. But my aim now, until I'm tired of stitching on it, which will probably be realistically about a fortnight of just stitching on this, because I love it so much, and every time I pick it up I want to finish it on the spot. I'm going to pick out the 791. What did I just say? Honestly, my brain's 797. So we're gathering for the tops of these columns. So these are going to be little skinny bits. My 797, and then I'll blend it down into 517 next. So hopefully by the next time I do a Flosstube, hopefully we might be all the way onto the bottom of these, and you can see some definite progress, because there's not a lot of stitching in these columns. As you can see, I can probably batter them out pretty quickly. And then of course I've got to do the 823 to make the pictures. But pointed fifth got picked up, and I just need to put in some grids now. And all I do with this is I kind of grid as I go. You can see the loose lines. That's where a solid colour, and then I blend down to make the ombre into the next colour. And it's usually a 2 or 3 stitch column that I did, band of blending, just to keep the blending nice. And it's what I worked out how it worked when I did Sans Souci. That's how I worked that out would work prettily. So exactly 50% on the pointed fifth. I will be trucking along with that. I just suddenly changed up my projects like yesterday. I just thought, okay, it's time for a change. So I changed. Because you can do that. You can do whatever you like. And, oh, that's not that colour at all. I've got little bits of colours everywhere that I can obviously wind back onto a bobbin. So pointed fifth, picked it up, did some stitching. Now, beginning of May, which was after I last recorded, I thought, what can I do? What can I do in May? What do I fancy stitching on? Something easy I can have in the car. I don't do anywhere near as much car stitching as I used to because I live here now. So, well, I'm predominantly living here now. So I'm not sitting in my car waiting on people finishing things anymore because I tend to go and collect them and come back. So it's a lot less car stitching, but I get some stitching done at work. I tend to eat my food now because I'm so blooming hungry running around at work all the time. I tend to just sit and eat my food when I'm on my break. But I picked up a Modern Folk Embroidery 2023 style and thought, I've got January, February and March finished. Why don't I stitch May? So I had to find a picture of May's because I now have the full PDF. I'll put a picture up here of the full thing. We've all seen it because so many of us started it. How's everyone doing, by the way? Did it? Who kept up and who's still on it like I am? I started mine. To be fair, I purchased it in the September, so I started January's in September, and went very slowly and then put it away for a year and a half, as you do. So I started May's. May's picture is here, which is the middle, like the second band of months in the middle. So I picked him up and I'm here. So I've done all the purple. This is 333 and 155. 2 purples on this glorious piece of Bee Stitch Me Punch. It's 40 count, so I'm doing 1 strand of DMC over 2 strands, and the stitches are tiddly tiny. Absolutely my super favourite. You know, when I'm awake enough to see it, it's my super favourite because the stitches are just so fine. The coverage is brilliant because it's 40 count. 1 strand does it beautifully. So 333 and 155, and I've come down to the corner of May here. I think I might have gone over the edge a little bit, and similarly here, this is the corner, this is the edge, and this is the edge here. So I'm going to try and loosely stick to the shape of May. There is a lot of stitching in this little tree. The tree is not stitched, the background of the tree is completely stitched. So I finished off these birds because obviously the line was there. I don't need to show you the before picture because it was to stitch to there. Those birds were only up to there. So I've done all of this, and I'm going to see how far I get in May, stitching May. And I'm not going to probably carry on and do June, or June's here. Probably not going to go back and do April anytime soon. I just thought, let's stitch May in May, and it'll do it for a bit, and that'll add another chunk to it, and I'm quite happy with that. So I picked out that the other day. I found, knocking around amongst my stuff, this that was going to be my daily stitch, totally fell by the wayside. This is my little Lola Crow What the Cat Saw, which has got Eric in it, and I'm just stitching the background. So my background thread is in my bag with, I hope it was, yes, in my bag with my long dogs. So I'm going to stick that back in the front pocket where he lived until he obviously got mislaid. I've found him again now. So I'm going to crack on, do a little bit more of my little Lola Crow, because he's in the bag with, yeah, all my long dogs are in there currently. That my 4-year plan long dogs reside in my, it's the same old fabric because I love it, my birdie bag. And of course in my treasure hunt bookshelf I've got my birdies on there too, not because I've got several meters of the fabric, because I bought everything that was left on the bolt in Dunelm because I had to have it and there wasn't a great deal left, and I think there was about 2.5 meters left of it, so I bought all of it because I love it, and I use it for me because I love it. So when I make things to sell, I'm using fabric I love, which I think's always nicer than just going, oh, I just bought this fabric, I don't like it, but I think someone, you know, no, I'm using things I love. That's kind of how I roll. I don't love this boring cup. I should have put it in one of my cups. I have brought all my entertaining cups here. You know, all my cups and my girls' cups have all moved in. Because we have generic man cups. So, yeah, all my nice cups are here, but I'm obviously using a generic man cup today for reasons unknown. What else have I got to show you? Treasure hunt bookshelf. Obviously, I got my stitches done for the month. It was a bit of a push, and I did off-pieced and use some other colours. This is now, I put the most dreadful picture up on Instagram ever. It was dark, it was awful, but it was there at 24%, and that's 2 years stitching on this for me. 24%. Where was I stitching? Oh, over here. Right. So I finished my month off over here. Here, and I did use 3 or 4 different colours, partly just to make, I think I was trying to get the line done along the top here. This is 939, this gap here. I did stitch it. I looked at it and I thought it was 310, and I did a lot of it. 939 and 310, there's not much between it. So the piece that should all be 939, can you see I've kind of gone round the edge because I was using 310, and then I realised it was 939, being a bit blasé, you know, oh, I know what this symbol is, I'm just going to stitch it in. Yeah, it wasn't, it was 939. So I've kind of done a little bit of spitty spotty here and there with the 310, so that when I stitch in the 939 it'll all blend in together. I will fill this little piece in. But I then moved, once I got to my 24%, I did then move over here. That's where my thread's joined on. This is starting to physically smell, and I can't wash it. It smells lived in, you know. not terrible, but it smells like life, you know. And I wish I could actively wash it, but I'm rather terrified of losing my grid lines, and I really need my grid lines for another 6 years. I'm going to really need my grid lines. So I moved over here, and there's 823 going in over here. There's quite a lot, obviously. There's another huge amount of 823 stitches to go. I'll put it up here, how many 823 stitches I've got to go. I've picked it up at 15,500, I think. So I've now got this many. I can't look up right now because I'm using my phone to record on. But I will get my stitches for the month. I'm probably going to stick to just 823. If I get to a bit where I've got a big gap to the next chunk of 823, I will pick a different colour and track down to it. I've said that before, but that's my treasure hunt bookshelf. Don't think I've picked up the key. It is still with me, always by my side, the key. Still in its little Q-snap. I probably will put some stitches into it soon. I can always just do a few hundred stitches here and there. Still, I think the thread's exactly where it was last time. Still just filling in these 414, 415, 4 something anyway. There. But my little draglin here, my little dragon, my purple dragon on my antique key, I have a purple dragon on an antique key. He's quite big. He's that big. I went bananas this week making dragons on keys. And I finished them into scissor fobs, and they will be photographed today. This one is more of a sea dragon because he has a frill. He doesn't have, he has a frill instead of down his back. I think I was spirited away type things. He's on like an antique silver coloured key, but they're all finished into scissor fobs, actually done. There's the one I showed you last week, the little red one, the little coppery coloured one, which again is finished. And there's a good selection here from a tiddly tiny, a turquoise dragon who is sleeping on a little heart key. There. He's not wrapped around as such, he's more kind of just laying on it. His tail is curled around it. But he is there. And then I went sneaky snaky. I'm just showing you these now because I've got the key out and it reminded me to show you them. I've got a snake and I made a pair and they look at each other. Two snakes. Of course finished differently. Different colour keys. And this one's one of my absolute favourites. I have this little one here, and that's a Fimo cane I made to make some dragon eye needle minders, which I've made another batch, which I'll show you in a second. And thank you so much to everybody who ordered things from me. Everything is in process. I'm going to go to the post office later on and get it. The international posting is not straightforward. I've got to do like tons of online forms for them. So I'm chucking through them and then I'll get them into the post. So anything into the UK hopefully is already delivered and you've got your things. Things going internationally are in process. Little dragon there. And I don't think I've just shown you this one. No, I've not shown you him. He is a blue one. There, and they go right round the key so that you can see the back of the wings and the Fuji flips. And then this one here is like a, I don't know what you'd call him. He's got the face of a mouse, but he's got tentacle suckers on him, and he's on a little rainbow fob because he's a rainbow, but he's covered in translucent, so he's a rainbow on the inside. He's just so sweet. He looks like a little mouse or a little ferret to me. He didn't come out as a dragon. He just didn't. I just let them do what they want to do. And then I think the only other things. Oh, I've got the tentacles. I think there's 4 or 5 of the tentacles on the fobs there. And then I've got this funny little one, which is again a little sea creature. And he is translucent. So he is full on translucent with a very pretty swatchy crystal drop on him. So he's really good and sparkly. But he is a translucent, frilly sea dragon type thing. Don't know what he would be doing wrapped around a key. His little tail curled around it. Anyway, I kind of got obsessed because this is what I do. I get really over obsessed with things, but usually I don't finish things. I start things, I make things, and I go, in 300 years I will finish these off. I have finished these off because everything I need is there. I've got a box with all the jewellery findings I need to make. The scissor fobs are in a box. All the lobster clasps are in a box. The pliers are in the drawer. They're on the table at the moment because I did those last night, but they're in the drawer. I've got them. So just from having this and looking at it and me thinking, oh, I wonder if I can get key charms. And the answer is yes, of course you can get key charms. How many would you like? What sizes would you like? What colour? What colour key charm? What colour keys would you like? Amazon is amazing. And then I've turned them into, with already existing Fimo, I've turned them into the Fimos like the Staedtler polymer clay. I use Fimo, I use Cernet. That's really the only 2 brands I kind of like. Yeah, that's what I've made. I will stop the video and go and get another piece from upstairs, and I'll get the dragon needle minders, which are over there. I have made another pile of the apple tarts as well because I sold out of those almost straight away. I made a new red apple cane, a little that big and about this long, which when you roll it out, it's like a stick of rock when you make a Fimo cane. You just roll it, and the pattern carries right through, and then you can cut slices and then do your thing with them. So I've got another, I think I've got another 10 of those, which I'm being wildly optimistic making 10, but once I'm making them, I have to like say, that's enough, stop, because I still want to keep going. You know, it's like, no, I can make 300. No, that's more than enough, stop. So they need the resin to make them finished and glossy, and then the big magnets on them. They've got the really big strong, because I think they're quite thick, so I really want your needles to stick onto them really well. Yeah, I'll go and get what I'm wanting to show you. It's just another piece that I'm going to move on to stitch on. And then I've got a little bit of, I found some fabrics for my Bella Filipina. Right, I'll be back in 2 seconds, guys. Right, I've just run up the stairs. But I'll show you these first. So these are my next batch of the Dragon Eye needle minders. So this is a new cane, and obviously I've used that cane in some of the, so you can see, I've used them for the scales there, and his wings are just bigger pieces of it, and his little the bits around his head and his spikes are just smaller bits. So I've just sort of squeezed it out a bit more to make them smaller. So I've kind of used it that, and I just got completely, it just carried me away, and I just got on with it. So there's 10 of those, but they're all the same, but they're all different. And then I made another 4 of these pink, purple and cream ones, because I still had quite a lot of that cane left. So, you know, each one of these canes, once the cane's gone, it's gone. So I've got some of those, and there's the next batch of backs, or the magnets. So that's 2 magnets and the cabochon. Those are the backs for these needle minders. So those are ready to be simply glued on to the next batch of needle minders, and then that's them. So I do those in little batches, like prepare them in advance, so that when I've done a needle minder, all I need to do, they're so grippy, all I need to do is, oh god, they're so strong, is glue that onto the back of the new needle minder. And then of course, once it's set, there's the bit that goes behind your fabric, there's the bit joined to the needle minder. Yeah, it's not rocket science, but they're ready to go for the next batch of whatever it is I make next. They're just standard size ones, they're not the big ones for the apple pies. So they're done. That's my little plug, right in the middle of, well, not in the middle of my video, but in my video this time, and with no heads up warning. I will be listing those and the scissor fobs at some point this week. Loads of you follow my shop. I will again. I'm going to try and remember every time now to put my link in the bottom in my description. I'm not very good at doing the description thing, but brilliant. Thanks so much. And I hope you really like your things when your things arrive. Those 4 bags I made with the scissor fob and the needle minder, they all sold pretty much straight away, and I'm just so thankful. Thank you. It's supporting me, and it means so much, you know. But I'm just enjoying having more time as I settle in here. I'm having more time to be able to make things, and everything's where I need it. And I went to IKEA on Sunday with my kids, and bought myself a very small metal filing cabinet, which all my Fimo is in now, all of it. So everything's there, and it's metal because it's like an uncured polymer. It eats other plastics. It makes other plastics sticky, and it's really nasty if you leave unbaked polymer clay on plastic. Anyone who's done it knows exactly what I mean. It's grim. So I keep them in metal or on glass. I do all my work on tempered glass. I bake them on like kitchen tiles, and keep them in a big metal tin now. So that's good. So I'm getting more sorted out as time goes on. So that's good. My coffee's gone cold. Anyway, so what I ran upstairs to get is Ariel, because I want to stitch on her. Now this is a Mandy Manzano Ariel, and she's there, and she's not very done because the piece of fabric, I just dropped that beautifully, didn't I? This is 16 count gridded, so this is a full coverage piece on 16 count. She's going to be that big. There's a lot of tail there, but what I thought I might do is go and find this other corner. So truck along the top, and it's all background, but the background's got words in it. It's all shades of blue, quite confetti heavy, I think. But I think I might just truck along and find the top right hand corner. I started in the top left, obviously, because that's where her head was. And I've still got quite a lot of little gaps. So I suppose I really should try and fill in. Right, so I think I'm going to find this corner. And when I find a corner, I kind of do Sarah the Stitching Mummy's typewriter method, where I pick a colour and stitch along until, with me, it's where my Q-snap runs out. And then I'll pick another colour and stitch along until I run out of thread or I run out of space. So I'm probably going to do that along there. And as I go, I'm just going to pick up a few colours and fill in a few of these gaps. I don't think I've stitched on this since I last ironed it. It feels very flat. It feels very you know, it feels like it's been ironed. Yeah, you can see, look, it's been really nicely ironed, and it's been very folded up since then. So I think I'm going to pull out her. She's what I fancy stitching on, but I fancy finding the corner. So I'm going to carry on, even though, yes, temptation says fill in some of this. I think I'm going to go along and find this corner. So I pulled her out, just went and got her because it's been on my mind to grab her. And that's all my pieces, all my stitching. So I'm really happy at the moment with how much stitching, not how much stitching I'm doing. Obviously I would much prefer at 2 o'clock this afternoon to do 8 hours stitching instead of 8 hours running around a shop floor. But gotta go and earn bloody money. It's painful. It's painful having to do it. Yeah, what are you gonna do? You gotta live, haven't you? So gotta be done. And I've got a week of lates, my last week of lates for a while now, which is, I'm fine with them. The only reason I don't like them is because I don't see my kids like as much as I would like to. But I'll have my kids tomorrow. I'm off work tomorrow, and the weather's going to be like this, so I'll probably get out in the garden a little bit. The wisteria is in leaf, just about, but not flowering. I think next week the wisteria should be flowering. So that's going to look very, very pretty, which I will enjoy. So yeah, mates, don't get to see my kids. I'm off tomorrow, so I'll have the kids tomorrow after school. Take my little boy back. He's not quite ready to stay over still. Hopefully, fingers crossed, really soon, because then that's an extra journey I don't need to make, because then I could just take them all to school on Thursday morning, whereas I'll take my little boy back Wednesday night and then take the girls to school Thursday morning. As soon as he's ready to stay overnight, I can take all 3 of them to school on Thursday morning, and that, you know, on the morning, and that will be lovely. But he's not quite ready yet. I think he's not far off because he's very comfortable here. So I don't think we're far off that. Okay, so on with the Goddess Aphrodite. There we go, my Bella Filipina chart, which I have not yet started. What I did do was find a piece of fabric which fits beautifully, and I just thought, yes, brilliant, get on with it, start. And then yesterday I found another piece of fabric, and now I have a quandary, which I'm going to ask you guys to help me sort out. So the other thing I did was go right through my stash of DMC. I've got my box of DMC, but I didn't want to pull from my master set. I pulled from my doubles and my skeins, of which were all muddled up everywhere, and I've been collating them into a bag. Every time I've come up with a DMC, I've hoiked it in a bag. So I sorted them all out, and that took a couple of hours of my day the other day, into bobbins and into skeins. So then as I did that, I checked off the chart, and I've got quite a lot of them actually. I think I am missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, more than I thought, 12. I'm missing 13, but I know full well I've got number 9 because I've got a full set of the small numbers. I just need to, that's the only one that's in a box that I haven't yet emptied. My full set of the, you know, the early numbers that they released, a full set, I was gifted those. So I know I have a number 9. So I've still got a few to either find, because I've still got a few knocking around here and there, and a few maybe to get. But basically, I found this many, and these are from doubles, so these aren't impinging on my master set at all. These are just extras. So what I'm going to do, somebody sent me a floss string with some beautiful hand punched floss cards. I'm going to floss card them all up. So this will be a kit up, a full kit up, and I haven't started yet. Obviously I have an issue with the fabric. So there she is. And I didn't want to stitch her on this colour fabric. I wanted to stitch her on my colour fabric. And what I found was this piece here, which I think is possibly called Cosmic. It's 32 count, which is perfect for the Bella Filipina. You need to do 32 or 28 count. And for me, slightly smaller stitches is better than the slightly bigger. It's opalescent with a blue opalescent running through it. It is beautiful. I'm pretty sure it's Be Stitch Me. It's big enough. It needs to be about that size for her to be on it. So it's slightly wider than it needs to be, but the height, because she's in landscape, of course, is perfect with a 2-inch border. Absolutely couldn't have measured it better. It was perfect. So I found that. And I thought, fantastic, she's going on this fabric. And then yesterday I found another piece. It's still got its label on it. It's also 32 count. It's the same size. It's called It's a Mystery. It's a Be Stitch Me fabric. And it looks like that. And it needs a fancy lady on it. It absolutely, it's exactly the same size. It's the same count. It will be just beautiful. I think I'm going to, I don't know, do I use the sparkly? I mean, this is more muted, but it's the same colours. I absolutely love it. I love them both. I love that one, but the more I look at it, I think I want to use the more mottled fabric, because so much of the fabric's going to show around the edges. And weirdly enough, the only bit of this fabric I don't truly love is this bit here right in the middle. And that's where blooming Great Swan's going to be. So I think it's just the way the fabric's crumpled. It's got these 3 very definite webs on it. There. 1, 2, 3. It's got 3 very definite like web lines where the fabric was really scrunched, and it's beautifully dyed. Look at this fabric. I think I just made my decision. I was going to ask you guys to help me, but I think I've made my decision here. I think I'm using It's a Mystery. These were both gifted to me from a dear friend who lives in Texas. I hope you're okay. We haven't spoken for a wee while, but I really hope she's not flooded out. I think this fabric is the one. It's outstanding, and this is the bits that will show. This is right up in one of the corners here, and I think this is the bit that's going to show, and I think it needs to be this one. Right, that's a decision made. Thank you for helping, because putting them up and looking at them has made my decision, and we'll pick something else to put on this beautiful opalescent I just think this is more grown up somehow, and because it's going to be going to when by the time I finished it, Lizzie will be a proper bona fide grown up. I think she'd prefer this for beautiful Aphrodite and the swan, riding the swan. It's perfect in several ways for Lizzie, actually. So there we go. Made a decision. I think if I can hold out, I'll start it the back end of next month on her 18th birthday. We'll see if I can hold out that long. I might well start it before, but I think I've pulled out enough stuff to stitch in May. I think I have. So there's that. And then this morning, while I've been trying to get to 50% on my pointed fifth, I finished, because I watched half of Holly, the Cross Stitch Addict, the other day, and then I had to go to work, so annoyingly, I had to turn her off and go to work. It was very, very annoying. So I finished off this morning. I have messaged you on Instagram, Holly. I know she's reached out to me, and she's quite right. I have not seen the message. You get so much bump from feed and, you know, rubbish on your YouTube that you do miss things, and I did miss a message. So I've messaged you on Instagram, and this here, which is my Master DMC set, what you were describing, I know you don't like bobbins and you're not going to have what you consider to be, I've got stamps in there, I've got stamps everywhere. I've just found them and shoved them in there to keep them safe, I think. I'm not very good, look, I'm not very good at keeping things tidy. That's waiting to go on its empty bobbin. And then the ones I've been using are on top. I'm terrible. I have put a lot of them away. There was probably, I want to say 40 of them just hanging around. This is my master set. So it's one big box, double-sided, loosely, from the start up to, well, 921 is where it laps, but I've got 921 in both sides. So 921 here. This is from, I've got a few of the ones here right through up to 900 odd, and then over the page we go from 900 odd, and then that's that's the end of the 900s, and then we pick up down here with the 3000s. Oh no, up here 3000s start here, and then they're the 3000s. And my master set started out as Treasure Hunt Bookshelf, and the skeins I bought for that, and then each time I added a new project and I bought new colours, I put them in the one box. And then when the floss box, the ordinary size floss box, got too full, I got one of these. And this is all my projects. And if you were a bobbinator, Holly, instead of holding things on Annie's Keepers and things like that, what you are heading towards is a master set where you collate everything together and you just open one box and pull one strand. You pull one, you know, you pull your one bobbin out and you get your strand off it and you put the rest back away. That's mine. But I have 3 times this much DMC. But that's one skein. Actually, I've got multiples in there. It's really annoying. I do still need to sort it all out. I do have another one of those boxes which will hold all my bobbinated spares when I do that. But they are at least now sorted into bobbinated and skeins and just DMC. I pulled all the anchor out of it. I pulled all the cotton pearl out of it. They're all in a box just there. I can see it because I've not put it on the windowsill yet. You know, everything's here and I can get to it, which is lovely. I do need to still just like tidy it all back a bit, but yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, that's about me, I think, guys. 44 minutes, not too bad. Yeah, lots of stitching to get on with, which is very pleasing. Lots of gardening to do. We did we did fill up all the hanging baskets with lovely new plants. You can only see those 2. As things grow in the summer, I will take you on a little tour of the garden. Still nothing much in evidence in the greenhouse, apart from strawberries hanging there. I've got 2 hanging baskets with the strawberries that I found in that hanging basket there, which was full of, it was like matted up. And then I've got 2 hanging baskets with the strawberries that I found in that hanging basket there, which was full of, it was like matted up. And then I've got 2 hanging baskets with the strawberries that I found in that hanging basket there, which was full of, it was like matted up. but there were strawberry plants in it. So I tipped it out, pulled out the strawberry plants, broke them into individual plants. I think there was 11 plants I found in one hanging basket, and they were all like crunched up together. So I've now got them spread between 2 hanging baskets, and they've grown massively. And they're in the greenhouse, so that 1, they'll fruit better, and 2, the birds won't eat them. So that we actually get the strawberries off the strawberry plants. Other than that, everything else is still tiddly tiny. I've got my pea plants and my beans over there, which need to be put into need to be planted out, but I won't do that. I might do that tomorrow. But it's coming along, and it's a nice little garden. We had our first little barbecue on Friday night. Barbecue is there. The picnic bench sits 8, it turns out. Who knew? We got 8 people round the picnic table. But Richard and his kids were on one side, and me and my kids were on the other. We don't yet intermingle as such, but we're getting there. You know, they interact with each other at least, which is kind of good because they're all the same age. We have currently 11, 13, 14, 16, 17. The 6 kids there. And then of course I've got Maddie, who's 21 and she's away. And his other ones are adults with children of their own. But that's what happens when life happens, isn't it? Anyway. That was good fun. It's busy, you know, it's loud, it's busy. And then they all eat, and then they all just like disappear into the house, which is kind of cool. And it's all right. So we're getting on. I'll get some pictures put in and get this video processed and uploaded, and then I'm going to go to work, blah, and I'm going to do a bit more stitching before then. So guys, have a really good week. I'll see you in about a week, and hopefully I'll have lots of lovely progress to show you. Bye bye for now. Hi guys again. As usual, I completely forgot to say something that I meant to say. I put out the feelers last week for a Needle Minder of the Month club, and I've had a really positive response to that. So thank you very much to anyone who's commented either on my YouTube or over on Instagram on the post I put up there. I'm going to go ahead with it. We're going to start a little Needle Minder of the Club month. Needle Minder of the Month club. In the next couple of weeks, the people who commented on Instagram, I'll send a message to you asking for your where you are in the world and your PayPal, so that I can send you an invoice for month 1. As to whether, and I'll send a message saying, would you like to be month to month, or do you want to buy a few months in advance, or what have you. So if you message me on Instagram, look out for that. In the next couple of weeks, I'll send little messages. And people who messaged on here on YouTube to me saying, I don't use Instagram, which is fair enough. I don't really use Facebook, and I suppose a Facebook group would be easier, but I don't really use Facebook other than to look at other people's stitching. My whole feed is Temu adverts and stitching, and that's it. Yeah. So what I'll do for you guys is I'll put my email address down below in the description box, and if you don't use Instagram or you don't want to go through Instagram, you can use that one. Just to say, I'm just emailing you just to let you know my email address. I'm in America, I'm in New Zealand, I'm in South Africa, I'm in Holland. It doesn't matter where you are. I put out a UK price just because postage within the UK is half as much, so it doesn't seem fair to charge one flat rate, which would have to be the international postage rate, so the people in the UK end up paying more and I end up keeping more. So there's a UK rate and a rest of the world rate. Doesn't matter where in the rest of the world, because the postage is very similar if I'm posting to Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, or France, or New Zealand. That postage rate is ballpark the same. It really is. So I said this much for the rest of the world, this much for the UK. That's £12 and £14, and that's it. So that will get you a needle minder delivered. So there's nothing adding on to that. That is it delivered. because we'll go through PayPal. I won't have to pay Etsy fees, any of that nonsense. So it'll work out nicer for everybody, I think. And that way I can do a flat rate, because I'm not paying Etsy 20% of everything I sell. So that's good. And so yeah, I've got it's my CraftieEmily Outlook email address down below there. That's the one I'll use. My PayPal's obviously a different address again, because my PayPal account is old. I might actually fix that and switch my PayPal to my Outlook address below. I think I might do that, just so that it's all cohesive. That might be easier. But again, it's going to be a couple of weeks. We'll start it in June, so I'll probably look to post the needle minders out maybe a third of the way through the month. So what I'll do, coming towards the end of May, I'll send out invoicing through PayPal, so it's all, you know, we've all got the protection of PayPal there, and I'll look to post towards the end of the first week of every month. So I completely forgot to say it, guys. I'm just going to tag it onto the end of the video. So if you've reached out to me, thank you, really thank you very much, because you're kind of leaving it up to me to choose what I'm going to make. And I've already ordered things, you know. I'm thinking, oh, I want to do things like this. I've been wanting to try these needle minders for a long time. I've wanted to make the ones that look like that. So I've started getting ideas, and I've already got probably a year's worth of ideas for, you know, well, because that's 12 ideas, isn't it? So yeah, some of them, sometimes it will be a dragon's eye, but it'll be something I've made that number of. Full stop, that's it. So anyway, thank you very much if you've reached out and said, yeah, I'm interested in that. I will be in touch in the next couple of weeks, and we'll sort something out for June. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.